That's right. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
Jacob Wild 2.
Welcome to the latest installment of our Rick and Morty recaps. It's season 4, episode 9, Childrick of Mort. Or as I like to call it, I fucked a planet, Morty. Because that pretty much sums it up, right? Like sometimes Rick and Morty just really knows how to cut to the opening sequence. Like, okay, like that's the premise of the episode. You pretty know much what to expect from this, and it's like, yeah, I fucked a planet.
I mean, what else do you expect from Rick at this point?
So what do you guys think of this one?
I thought it was a fairly decent episode.
Yeah, I feel it was a little bit kind of a repeat of last season, where if I remember, last season's penultimate didn't really thrill me, but
last season's penultimate was the ABCs of Beth.
Yeah, which really, let me put it this way, I think this is better than that
this
one.
Is better than ABCs of Beth. Yeah,
I know it was.
Yeah, a lot of episodes are better than ABCs of Beth.
Yeah. Let me put it this way, I think this is a better episode than ABCs of Beth, and I feel I think it's a solid episode. Just I didn't care for it personally. You know, I don't know. It's just this one wasn't terrible. Just didn't do it for me.
All right, that's fair.
I'd say it's probably like a step down compared to what we've been getting recently this second half.
Yeah, unfortunately, I said it. I said at the end of last week's episode that I was really hoping that this streak would continue. If we got 5 really, really solid out of the park episodes in a row, then this might be the best run of episodes we've ever gotten. Unfortunately, I think out of the 3 of us, I'm the most high on this one. But yeah, I mean, even I'm kind of saying that this is a step down from what we've been getting. By the way, hey there, Demona B. Nice of you to join us. Glad to see you. So here's the thing. I like certain elements of this episode. I really do like the whole Rick fighting God element of it all. I thought that was probably the highlight of it. Dragon, I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say the Jerry stuff didn't really
Well, I mean, I think overall there's things. Jerry did not help at all, mind you. But what I'm saying is, it's. I think overall there's just kind of like a pointlessness to the episode that kind of got me on the whole with everything. So again, some stuff I thought was better than other stuff. It's just overall just felt like we kind of defeated the point by the end of the episode. It's like, well, why did I really sit through that?
Yeah, definitely a step down. Claude Coringa says Rick versus God. Hey there, Claude. Claude, what do you think of the episode? Demona, what do you think of this episode? I'm curious. Assuming Demona even watched the episode, she might just be popping on to say hi.
Well, Claude, it's funny you say what's next. Rick goes up against Satan. Well, remember, he did actually go up against Satan already, so.
That is actually true.
Yeah, and it was Alfred Molina, which is, how are you going to get better than that as your Satan? I mean, come on.
Yeah. You all know the true lesson we're taking this is like, all you need to do in life is just do drugs and play video games.
So,
I would say I'm just, never mind.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah.
So I think maybe I'm going to put the finger on the pulse of maybe what's wrong with this episode. And to me, it's like, this episode feels like a bunch of plot lines that we've already gotten. So Rick having sex with a planet feels a little bit like Unity. Am I wrong?
Well, I think it does. Go on.
No, it's like, it's in case of a planet, last time it was just, like a single being inhabiting a planet.
Right, but I mean, it's very much kind of treading the same sort of sci-fi territory, though, for me at least.
Yeah, Rick definitely goes big or he goes home, for sure, when it comes to his types of girlfriends that it comes across. I mean, Unity, and then something like this, of course, very Mogo-esque. Again, it's so funny, they very directly did some Batman stuff with that Vat of Acid episode. Now we're doing some Green Lantern with like a giant sentient planet.
Except this, instead of like exploring like how it's kind of damaging to Rick, this time it's just like, yep, I did it. So what?
Pretty much.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that is a fun angle on the episode.
And there's some implication. I like we don't spend too much time on the why. We say this is where it happened and not much else.
Right. We get painted just enough of a picture.
It's like we don't need to know the details of how. It's just like it's Rick. We don't really need to question it at this point.
I mean, there's the birds and the bees, and then there's like the humans and the planets. So there's just I don't know. Anyway. So, I mean, here's the thing. So, the episode for me, what I liked about it, and again, I think I can wrap my mind around, is there is a perennial theme to the episode. The parenting theme of the episode is good. I don't think we say much about it by the end of things, though, but I mean, we kind of break it down into 3 plot lines. Plot line 1 that works best, Rick and Beth getting along and bonding over this little baby factory and city they're building. That, to me, was a highlight of the episode, like them building the whole little kind of.
Did anyone else get Laura Dern from Jurassic Park vibes with Beth? Like, you guys can go, but I'm going to stay behind and help.
Little bit, maybe a little bit. I didn't directly pick. When you say it like that, it's like, yeah, there's a little Laura Dern-esque, yeah. Of course, Morty and Summer, they're kind of neglected. I know that's kind of the point of the episode, but still, it's like kind of like a why bother? We just kind of wrote them out of the episode. Basically, they do one important thing, and then we're just kind of wrote them out.
I do think that the one important thing they do is pretty funny, though.
I know, that's great. Don't get me wrong. That's what I'm saying. All the stuff in conjunction.
No, you saved Grandpa. You saved Grandpa. Video games and drugs saved your grandpa's life.
I love that scene. I love when Rick gets like that. I love when it gets kind of it's kind of like the whole consumerism speech.
Right.
A couple episodes ago. That's what I'm saying. I love when Rick gets like that.
I love the design of the blue hazed over eyes when they're high on the alien fluids or whatever the hell it is.
Like the alien brake fluid. That's essentially she's huffing the brake fluid and oh god. Anyway, so that's what I'm saying. I think basically everything in conjunction with Rick seems to work for the episode. Like when the kids are in conjunction with Rick in that regard, that works great. And of course, we leave characters their own devices. Like this Rick, as Morty and Summer's kind of going around, just kind of like on their own, just kind of happening upon the ship, and just like video games and alien stuff. Again, when it realigns with Rick, material. Otherwise, it's like, well, okay, we're just kind of like cutting away while we have these 2 other plot lines going on. And speaking of the other plot lines, and then there's Jerry.
And then there was Jerry.
Okay, so
really quick, I want to get to some comments from Claude.
Oh yeah, sure, go ahead.
He does make a good point that says, I like that we finally get an episode in season 4 where the entire family goes on an adventure with each other. And you know what? That is true. Say what you will about this episode. It's not the best family going on an adventure together episode, but it's nice that they're all there. I won't deny you that.
It really doesn't happen that often anymore in this show.
Yeah, you're right.
I like how we're kind of taking the classic camping trope here. We're the family's going camping and turn off all the devices and none of the sci-fi BS, according to Jerry. Of course.
So Claude has this quote, you're unemployed, Jerry. Every day is a vacation for me. And that is not even the meanest quote that gets thrown Jerry's way this episode, man. Jerry gets put through the verbal ringer.
I actually sympathize with him a lot in this episode, actually.
I sympathized with him in the beginning, Jacob. In the beginning, I think his storyline goes off the rails, but we'll get there.
I'm saying it really worth. I mean, if I had any semblance of a sympathy at the beginning, it just did really evaporate rather quickly. That's kind of my thing with Jerry. Is like, I think it's like the only time I feel like last time I can recall. I'm sure there might have been a time or two after this point, but the one always springs to mind where I was on a Jerry store. It's okay, I'm invested. The whole daycare of Jerry's. I love
yes.
As I'm saying, I felt a sympathy for Jerry, and I felt that's when Jerry. That's my preferred Jerry writing right there. Okay, it's like Jerry.
I won't deny that's probably the best Jerry plot we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
But I mean, Summer just kind of verbally just beating him into submission is just it's a brutal scene, It's just like
he's absolutely in the right though.
He is.
Yeah, Jerry's like completely right in that scene though. It's like Summer and Morty were kind of like just basically being assholes for the sake of being assholes.
And I like that Jerry doesn't really call them out on it. He just kind of quietly sobs and goes on a walk. I don't know.
It's like, yeah, he's used to it at that point. Like, he's used to being the family's punching bag, which
But
is
then
You know what? It's like calling out, like, they're saying no, they don't want to do the camping trip. They don't want to do the camping trip. Yeah, what does he do? He drags them on the camping trip. I mean, what does he expect, really, at this point?
well, it's kind of I got the vibe I got from that was it almost kind of felt like the kind of an inverse on like the Homer Simpson, like, hey everybody, let's go on a camping trip and it'll be great fun for the entire family.
That's your season 1 Homer impression, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Let's all get some frosted chocolate milkshakes.
Oh god, I love it when I love it. Jerry just draws the line in the sand, like no sci-fi BS at the start of the episode. And then like Rick spilled the Faraday. I love when he builds the Faraday box in the car. So much. And anyway, so then of course we get the whole like Rick had sex with the plan. Also a little sci-fi thing here. I love how he just retrofits the station wagon into this spaceship, which is awesome. I love this is like my favorite. Like this is like classy way of throwing shade at Jerry here. I love where Rick just hits like a button and basically the driver's seat gets like transformed. So Rick is now the driver's seat.
That was great.
Awesome.
That was great. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So anyway, so yeah, go on.
So Jerry is just like walking along, and the moment that I was like, oh boy, this is gonna really piss Dragon off is how exactly Jerry gets into his predicament. Dragon, would you like to tell them?
Oh, you mean the God? Yeah, this thing was like, I was like, oh, really?
It was pretty pathetic. I won't deny.
He throws. I think like he either throws and/or kicks like a rock in like defiance. Like, oh, he's trying to skip a rock. He's trying to skip.
Yeah,
a
he's
stone.
like, oh, I guess they don't want me to teach them how to skip stones either.
Throws a rock. It just bounces off. He just doesn't aim it at all. He's not even. How do you like, look? There's an honest mistake, and then there's come on, man. He's literally have open water to hit. Open water, and what does he do? He hits like it reverberates on like a rock or a tree or something, and he falls.
Oh man!
He falls in the river, which then leads him into like the conveyor belt thing with basically the birthing area, and then it's just all that. It's ridiculous.
Right. And then I don't know all the stuff with the oh god, what are they called, the unproductives?
Yeah, the unproductives. Yeah.
It goes to his head way too quickly. It's really predictable. We've seen this kind of storyline with Jerry before with the Meeseeks and stuff. It just
to show you that again, I am a fair man here. Just to be very clear. Okay, had the story had gone. Like, okay, Jerry's actually validated. He's actually teaching people how to camp, and he's not letting it get to his head. I would have given Jerry points there. Okay, Jerry gets the camp.
He instantly lets it go to his head. That's the problem.
He couldn't just teach him how to camp. No, he had to be the king of the hobos. He just had to,
like.
He tried to become Rick, basically.
Freaking out when they start to build houses and stuff. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, essentially.
Instead of not letting it go to his head, he became Rick.
Yeah, he couldn't have just been a good father. He just had to be like the king. He had to be a Rick.
Yes. Like this episode actually calls out like a lot of stuff that Rick does wrong, which I can, like, if you think about it, it's like basically points out how kind of like how shitty of a father he actually technically is.
Yeah.
Sorry, true, but then again, he was building utopia, so look at where the results lead, though. Let's be honest. I mean, come on. Those guys are really well off, and they were going to space, darn it. They were going to space.
I mean, though technically Jerry does also bring up some good points about this supposed utopia.
Hey, basically his main point was like, hey, indoors versus the outdoors. You know, it's I don't know, but yeah, you're right. He did have some better points than that, I'm sure.
All right, a couple things from Claude here. If Rick and Morty and Family Guy ever had a crossover, Jerry and Meg would have a lot to talk about with each other.
That they would. I mean, I think Jerry would adopt Meg. I think that's how that would
go.
God. Let's be honest.
Well,
and then, go ahead, Jacob.
Well, I mean, there's kind of a 6 degrees of separation there. I mean, Simpsons crossed over with Family Guy, and then there was a Rick and Morty couch gag in Simpsons.
Oh, so that's true. That's true.
They're slowly but surely getting there. They're getting there.
So there's a minor degree of separation there, so it's not too far off.
They're inching closer to each other. It's like when like the comments are parallel to each other. It's a little more. It's gonna be a little like clink.
Oh God, you killed the Simpsons, Morty. Oh God, look at the baby one.
Yeah, you joke about that, but Family Guy had a gag where they murdered all the Simpsons characters.
Well, the Rick and Morty couch gag was pretty grim too. I mean,
no, you're right. You're right. I'm just saying.
They have a close up of like baby Maggie, like all gooped up and mortified.
You're right.
On Disney Plus, everyone.
Do. All right, what do you think of the camp song?
I mean, as a montage, it works.
I mean, have you noticed like a nice little but like a song in every single episode this half of the season?
I didn't think of it until you brought that up. Let's see. Oh yeah, you're right. Well, a musical interlude of some variety. Yes, you're right.
Well, technically last week's is like it did have like an extended sequence without dialogue, but like, like some of these, a lot of these episodes have had an actual song in them for whatever reason.
Yeah. Musical season,
I will say the campfire song not nearly as good as the SpongeBob campfire song. That is the ultimate campfire song.
True.
Oh no, for sure.
These are facts.
By the way, are you guys planning on checking out Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated?
Most likely, yeah.
Remind me, what is that? I've heard about
that. That is the PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube game in HD. Huh. The classic SpongeBob side-scrolling platformer.
I don't know. Probably not, but I don't know.
I have some nostalgia for that game.
I'm probably going to check it out.
I'm playing through 2 different 3D platformers right now. I'm playing through Super Lucky's Tale and A Hat in Time, so I need to beat both of those before I start in on SpongeBob.
Perhaps we should.
Hat in Time's great.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, we can talk about Hat in Time later, Jacob. Anyways.
Perhaps we should talk about God battles and stuff, like right now.
So this is would you guys say this is the best stuff in the episode, the God stuff?
Of course, yeah.
With like apparently the real father of the
So this is where I think the substance of the whole episode is too, where it's like in terms of the theme, the whole parenting theme, because again, that's just where we're divvying things up there. We're seeing the lack of parenting with Mort and Summer, the whole like the trying to make up for all the lost time with Beth, and now we're seeing. I love the argument.
If you think about it, though, Beth cares more about these planet kids than she does her own children, basically.
Exactly, because again, it's like an opportunity to like save herself through the kids. Like again, she just wanted an abandoned like father dynamic like she had. That's why she's all eager about saving these kids. And I hope that Rick at the end of the day, he was absolutely right about just let nature take its course. When these things get born, they're going to get like most of them are going to get clobbered to death when they land after they're spurted out. Like had Rick not intervened, the process would have been a lot cleaner and a lot simpler. And everything, the real father would eventually come along. But again, Beth intervened, and again, it made for some fun daddy-daughter bonding, mind you. But outside of that, Reggie Zeus shows up here. Reggie Zeus.
That's a great name.
Yep, Reggie Zeus, and
I'm a Zeus. I can do whatever I want.
I love the commentary of the episode. The commentary in that it's kind of on the relationships between stepfathers and kind of the absentee fathers. It's like the ones who kind of the walk out, so then they come back. Kind of your old daddy's home situation, if you will. Kind of your Wahlberg, Will Ferrell, if you will. It's like comes back, gets all the glory, and like, hey, daddy's a giant cloud, and he's home, and he gets all the points because he's God-ish. Or again, as Rick
this is very much kind of like an Ego the Living Planet parody as well, I would say.
Yeah, but again, pretty much. I mean, I use Mogos because again, they're kind of leaning towards DC with the other thing, with the whole Starro and with the Vats. Right. And I feel like a DC theme to this season. But you're right. I mean, take your pick, Ego or Mogo, whatever you. A living planet of some kind.
Well, Warner Brothers and all that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's that.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Screw the Vindicators.
So the whole fight does kind of have a nice Dragon Ball Z quality to it, with the the epic muscular guys floating in space and beating each other up. Although it's great because Zeus is muscular, but Rick really isn't. It's kind of like a brain versus brawn kind of fight.
I love the mundanity of the fight. Go on.
And I can't really call it a Deus Ex Machina because it was kind of built up, but if the ship that Summer and Morty were piloting didn't come up, Rick probably would have lost.
Yeah, but you gotta be honest. I'm surprised Rick was kind of in the losing position during that fight, given how much he's kind of we've said before, Rick, that he is a god himself when he's like said to the president last season. I'm like, God, man, what are you gonna do?
Apparently against actual gods, he gets his butt kicked.
That's the thing, but again, here's the thing. This is what I love about the fight, but also kind of raises a question. I love how mundane, basically, as they kind of phrase in the making of the episode, it's like a parking lot battle between kind of the stepdad and the absentee dad here. Where it's just you get so mundane now, like using like big pow zaps and whams of like godlike magic and technology.
Oh God, show somebody.
What?
Joe Somebody. Do you remember that Tim Allen movie, Joe Somebody?
Oh yeah, Joe's. Yeah, sorry, I thought you. Yeah.
I know it's a deep pull, but I thought you'd appreciate it.
No, it is. I just didn't know what you're saying at first. Like, wait, what? But no, I got you.
Joe Somebody, where Tim
You got him
Allen
with just Joe Somebody out of context is like Joe Somebody. Well, who are you talking about? But no, you're absolutely
right.
But
who did Tim Allen go up against in that movie? Remind me.
I think it was his boss or something. I think.
No, I know, but the actor.
God, I know this. I'm
gonna look this up before it drives us crazy.
All right, fine. You look that up. Anyway, my point is, it's kind of a mundane. Despite it being like a battle of gods and kind of mad scientists here, I love that it's just so scaled down. Like they're not doing all this shock and awe, just like they're beating the crap out of each other. And it seems remarkably even though Rick is quite outside of his weight class, because they're doing about the same amount of damage there. I just feel like it just feels like Rick had a better chance of winning that than looking at the two of them he would have. I don't know. I guess they deferred to. Okay, well, I guess yeah, you see.
Well, and also to be fair, Rick is also using his science to probably beef him up.
That's what I'm saying too. I mean, a little bit. Yeah, you're right. There's a little bit of that, but still, he even did that against the god as much as he could.
I mean, if he had to use like a natural powered Zeus against a natural powered Rick, I mean, Rick would probably just be just a pile of bones at that point.
Fair enough. But he did absorb that lightning bolt like a champ, though, with that little like, you try to smite me
because of that device.
I know. Yeah, it's on top of that. Yeah.
Okay, guys, you're gonna love this, and I really want to rewatch this movie now. He fights Patrick Warburton.
Oh my god! Yeah, really?
Yes.
Oh, do you know why?
Patrick Warburton is the co-worker jerk. I really want to revisit this movie now.
You know why that's so perfect? We have the original Buzz Lightyear.
The original Buzz Lightyear versus the real Buzz Lightyear. Yes,
oh my god!
All right, we need to revisit Show Somebody, guys.
Oh my god! Okay. Anyway, okay, we're getting way too sidetracked here. My point.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so anyways, of course, as Jake said, kind of our vague, again, not per se a Deus Ex Machina, but a just kind of still kind of a fun little save for Rick here. Spaceship with the grandkid saves the day, and he's so I love him praising those kids there, and he's like, "Oh, you." He has like a cutesy name for him, which is ridiculous. Like,
no, drugs and video games saved your grandpa.
I love like the bad morals with Rick. Again, he's just so involved. Like, consumerism is great, Morty. You bought something with your own money. In this case, no, you saved Grandpa with drugs and video games.
It's like, don't worry, I won't rat you out.
And of course, what he wraps him out completely, literally just because he didn't even need to. Which is the fact that they said, "Yeah, more than you did, Dad, to help." And of course, he doesn't want the last word. He wants to put it back on them for being bad, like real grandparents and in-laws. You know, it's like you never want the last word to be against you. You always want, "Oh yeah, really? Well, look how good parents you are." I mean, Morty's just crying out for help here. You know, he thought video games could control a spaceship.
Like,
by the way, I love Morty's just really realistic reaction to that. Like, "Oh shit, this isn't a video game at all. Oh fuck, oh fuck."
I love how they just kind of sold you on initially, where you think that you knew where it was going. Basically, I like how Rick demystifies it, because we're thinking, okay, Summer has some sort of connect via the drug thing, and she now knows how the shit works. And Morty has ingeniously kind of fashioned some ink, and he's written down the controls via the video game for how to control the shit. XLR, this is going to work like a charm. And ultimately, of course, what happens is she's been inhaling brake fluid, so the whole thing falls apart.
Oh god.
And
Summer, don't you realize you've been inhaling brake fluid?
Yeah. And then he does the same thing. And then he inhaled it too.
Oh, that's good stuff. All right, so speaking of video games, guys, Claude Coringa says, imagine there being a Rick and Morty video game.
Well, there actually is one, Virtual Reality. It's a VR game.
But he's talking more along the lines of like a PS4 game or something like that.
And that would be neat. I remember way back in the day during the PS2s. I know, kids, there was one before the PS4s. Go with me on it.
There's a PS3 there's a PS3, a 2, and a 1.
Well, don't blow everybody's minds here, Jacob. And we don't want to stupefy everybody.
Yeah, I don't think they're ready for PS1 yet. That's archaic technology.
Well, explain from Xbox One before that was 360.
That's what I'm saying. Jacob, we're throwing numbers at him at this point. We got to done with that. No, all seriousness. Anyway, so we're all old men here. Anyway, so the PlayStation 2. There was like a Family Guy game for the PlayStation 2. That's kind of an equivalent. I'm thinking of like, hey, Rick and Morty game where you can
There's a Family Guy game. There's a Futurama game.
There's a couple Simpsons games.
Oh, there's been a ton of Simpsons games, yeah.
Well, the
Like
point being, Rick and Morty being good company, it sounds
Hit and
like.
Run arguably being the best Simpsons game.
Oh yeah, oh definitely. That or the Simpsons arcade game.
Yeah, sure. Can you imagine a Rick and Morty beat 'em up though?
Yeah, I'm picturing more of like a 3D platformer with some RPG elements thrown in. I really like Pocket Mortys. Jacob, have you ever played Pocket Mortys?
I have not played Pocket Mortys.
Okay, it's basically like Pokemon. It's a really easy, cheap version of Pokemon, but with Mortys instead of Pokemon, like different style Mortys. And so I'm picturing something where you take the battle system from Pocket Mortys, but you expand it into a bigger RPG. And then you have stuff like Meeseeks. I could imagine Meeseeks as like a weapon or a power-up or something like that. And,
like
going to Blitz and Chips and fighting Bird Person and stuff like that. I don't know. I can picture it.
It's like, damn it, Morty, I'm in another one of your shitty games, aren't I?
Excited for the new Samurai Jack video game. What is this I hear of a Samurai Jack video game? What?
I don't know anything about
I haven't heard anything about this
either.
Details,
Is it on PS4?
details.
Or like, is it on a PS4 game of some variety? Or a new, whatever the PS5, whatever's coming out? Is it...
I'll confirm this.
I'm not. I haven't heard a thing about it. But
that sounds amazing.
Has there ever been a Samurai Jack video game?
Well, I mean, there's been on Cartoon Network way back in the day. They have like Flash games.
Oh, that doesn't count.
I know it doesn't count. I'm just reminiscing.
And there was I think Shadow of a Coup was like a PS2 game. But other than that, I don't think so.
Oh, I do remember Shadow of a Coup. Yeah, I do remember.
I never played it, but I heard of it. Plus, I think he might have been in Fusion Fall, but that was about it.
Right. So,
anyway.
Okay, get
as
back
we wait for details, what other things in this episode should we discuss?
Like the end moral here. So I like that Rick is just kind of calling out the BS kind of high road that Gaia takes at the end of the episode. We're like, Rick, look what you've done. And he calls around. Well, yeah, you asked me to raise your kids when you full well knew it wasn't me who birthed your kid. So again, I think look, it's horrific, mind you, but it's kind of justice at the end of the day. What happens? I mean. Again, more graphic than it needed to be, because again, the original father is dead. But again, let's be honest, the father, not a good guy. It's at the end of the day. That's what I'm saying. There's no moral to the episode. I mean, there's no moral with comedy, and then there's just there's no moral and just not much of a point to everything for me here. It's like, what do we really? There's you don't need to learn a lot, but we need to learn a little something, I guess. That's
and we got to see Beth help Rick raise her technically half siblings, I guess. If you think about it, technically, they're her half brothers and sisters.
Not at all, Jake. Because again, they're not his. So
they thought they were.
Well, initially, yeah, you're right. Initially, they thought they were. Yeah,
that's what I meant.
Sorry, yeah. So I meant
all right.
Well,
We have a new person in the comments. I don't believe I've seen this person before. JMW, welcome. They say it's time for the series writers to introduce a new member of Rick's family. How about Morty's grandpa, for instance? Well, remember, JMW, we have memorably seen Morty's grandma and grandpa. Dragon, would you like to remind them?
Oh yeah,
Oh God!
You mean Jerry's parents, right?
Oh yeah, right. Well, it's still the grandparents, though. It'd still technically be Morty and Summer's grandparents.
Well,
right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we've seen.
Yeah, the one with the. I don't know how to word this.
Anatomy Park.
I mean,
one with the kind of the live-in friend, as it were.
Yes, the live-in friend. Yes,
what was his name again?
I think it began with a J or something.
Hell if I know. I don't know.
I know. The point being, yes, just they're kind of they're third in their permissive marriage partner. I don't know how to phrase it either. Okay, the point being, their special friend within the relationship that Jerry's father.
Let's just say there's an open relationship there.
Very open. There you go. It involves a Superman costume, apparently. That's all.
God.
Anyway, and in the Carvey aside here. So it's called Samurai Jack Battle Through Time. I'm sorry, Jacob. Go on.
All right, and did we talk about the ending of this episode yet? Like the car ride home yet?
Well, I kind of alluded to that, but if there's anything else you want to get in there, I was just talking about how there was kind of no moral, but go on.
I mean, I was just saying, it's like basically it all built up. Like Rick's not gonna call them out. Then like was like, yeah, they're better than you, Rick. There's like, oh yeah, well, yeah. Basically, as you said, he basically turns on them turns on them and just I don't know how to word this.
Yeah, it's basically like, you're not so good parents yourself. There, look at that. Your son's crying out for attention. He's terrible at math, and he's always begging for help. There, your daughter smoked brake fluid.
Yeah, it's like they're both kind of at fault there, and ultimately that does kind of point back to Rick in a way as well. If you think about it, it's the way he raised his daughter. So.
But you know what, real quick, just to kind of entertain what I think JMW was going with that, like seeing Morty's grandma. I think what he means is like seeing Rick's wife, which we kind of glimpsed it once. But it was at the beginning of season 3 with the Rick's like the what if Rick origin, which again we don't know how genuine that was. So I don't know. It would be interesting, but again, they always have to take a stance on the whole origin thing, which they're really trying to be kind of counterculture with the sort of like, this is what happened in Rick's past. Which, of course, if we give Rick an origin, we kind of make him less interesting. So I don't know if we're ever going to see Morty's grandma.
I mean, I don't think so either. I mean, it would be. I think it would be interesting to see it, but I don't think that's the route they're going with this.
Maybe towards the series finale, like a penultimate flashback or something.
Yeah,
like
sure.
That.
That's what I'm saying. It's a question of like, are they going to save it till the very end, or until the end of their renewal?
All right. Well, I would personally like to see Mr. Poopy Butthole return to the Smith family.
Well, he's gotta. We saw him return this season, but I'm saying like a real return, like not just like a whole. Like,
his only appearance has been the heist episode.
Yeah.
All right. Also, guys, Claude's got a bunch. I'm not going to like read it all off, but Claude's got a bunch of info on that Samurai Jack game. If you want to read through it, sounds pretty interesting. It's interesting that the main takeaway I'm getting is that it's essentially going to be a sequel to the last season of Samurai Jack, kind of returning to the Aki arc, which I'm not quite sure how I feel about. Just leave it at that. All right. Guys, I'm terribly sorry, but I totally forgot to look up the post credits. What was the post credits this time around?
Oh, it was nothing fancy. It was just basically Rick. What do you mean you didn't look it up? You didn't watch to the end?
No, I forgot to watch till the end. I forgot.
Yeah, you forget to watch the end. There's always something at the end.
Basically,
I just forgot. I don't know what to tell you.
Basically, it was just him. Basically, it was just Rick watching. Like it turned out to be an advertisement for like sexy planets.
Mm.
Yeah, it was.
And then and Summer walks in. Rick closes the laptop he was watching. I was like, it's like standing over your shoulder for like a whole minute. It's like, yeah, well, I was just watching it for comedy.
Ironically, that's pretty much what he's.
Even though, and he turned it back on immediately after she left.
Yep.
All right, so Rick's got a thing for planets. Got it.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much.
All right, guys. Does that bring us to final thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, final thoughts on my end. I really did love the last 3 episodes in a row that we got. I thought we were on a real hot streak. And I don't think this is terrible. Like, I really don't think this is nearly as bad as something like the Mad Max episode or the Dragon episode. Those episodes to me are Rick and Morty at its worst. This is like Rick and Morty having an average week. You know what I mean? There's some stuff that really lands. There's some stuff that doesn't land. It's not the greatest, but it's far from the show at its weakest. I think it fits just in the middle. Be like right in the middle of my rankings if I had to rank the episodes of the series.
Sounds good. I mean,
yeah, go on.
I was like, I pretty much agree with that. I mean, I wouldn't say this is like a terrible episode. I mean, I think it's better than some of the episodes of the first half of this season. But I think as far as like this latter 5, at least so far, it's probably the weakest one of all of them, of the 5 at least.
I'd agree with that. I mean, for me, again, it feels a little bit like a repeat of season 3 in that we had a really great string of episodes. It was then broken up with 9, And again, I'm hoping that we're going to have a really fun one with 10 like we do in season 3. So it's kind of what I guess it's kind of what we said. If there's like kind of a cosmic pattern to things here, I mean, we'll see. I mean, good news. If this is like a pattern that keeps on going, we're going to have like a really, really great like 3 or 4 episode lead up to kind of lead up until we get to 9. It's like it's like a reverse Better Call Saul, Tiki. It's like 9. That's what I'm saying.
Right. And then the season finale has a really interesting title. It's going to be Star Mort: Return of the Jerry.
Yes, they've been teasing up some Star Wars stuff this season.
And apparently, it's Jerry spelled with an I.
Yeah. Like Jerry Manthe from Survivor Australia. Crickets.
Weird flex, but okay.
Hey man, if you were watching Survivor Australia back in 2002, you know who Jerry Manthe was. Anyways, sorry. Okay, I think that's about it. Thanks so much for Claude Karinga in the comments, along with JMW. Nice to see you, and also Damona B. Nice to have you back, Damona.
Yay.
We will be back next Monday for the season finale of Rick and Morty. It's sad that it's already coming to an end. And yeah, stay tuned for a lot more other stuff, including the animation vacation and the animated Batcave and a whole bunch of other stuff coming up. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night. I've looked at Planet